What's going on, guys? We are here for the IGTV mini-series 5-Tool Performer, the final episode to go over the 5th tool. I'm part of the 5-Tool Performer spectrum. Today we're going to look at becoming a 5-tool physical performer. Obviously something that I'm incredibly passionate about. It's a career of mine. It's a lifestyle that I live. And of course I take on a lot of physical projects and passions. So again, it's something that I embrace in my life day to day, just like all these things, but physical is definitely a high component for me. So let's jump into the character traits and the characteristics of a 5-tool physical performer, and that is mind and body. So we're going to jump in by saying a 5-tool physical performer is in shape. Of course, in shape can be somewhat subjective, but at the same time it can be objective because there are some basic principles of what in shape kind of looks like. Starting off, high energy. It's a great component to stick with. If you are someone of a 5-tool physical performer in nature, you have energy to do the things that you want to do with the people that you want to do it with. You're not limited based on your energy. We see it a lot where people get burnt out and they don't have the energy or the drive or the ambition, and that's basically based on poor health. And that limits their ambitions. It limits the things that they actually involve themselves with, because they just don't have the energy to actually put forth to achieve those things. Because a lot of things that do require discipline and a high level skill set take time, energy, and attention. If you don't have the energy, obviously you can't put your your full capacity into that realm. I also look at strength. A 5-tool physical performer is strong, and that doesn't just mean you're the strongest guy in the room, but it does mean, hey, you have some lean muscle tissue that allows you to perform daily tasks without, again, being limited. I'm going to use that word quite often in this sequence because I think strength, of course, it's that physical nature. It's the idea of that ancestral, biology of, yes, if you're strong, you're seen as able, you're seen as capable, that you can protect yourself, you can protect others, and you are an asset rather than a liability. Obviously, strength over weakness back then was critically important. Today, yeah, we're not defending ourselves life or death, but at the same time, you want to have that internal confidence to be able to defend yourself, be able to stand on your own 2 feet, protect yourself, protect your loved ones, and strength also goes into just preventing injuries, right? You want to have strong muscles that go around your ligaments and joints that keep you from being susceptible to injury and prone to injury. So often, people that lack strength in their muscular development and their physiology, they are more prone to common illnesses, common injuries, and debilitations that can be actually avoided if we were just to produce a stronger body. And again, we do that through active lifestyle, we do that through exercise. Then I also look at having a strong aerobic base. If you're in shape, you have a strong heart. Again, this is not only important for one of those aspects we talked about earlier, having high energy levels, but it also goes in the idea that we can prevent illnesses. That can be more day-to-day illnesses, or we can actually look at chronic illnesses like diabetes and hypertension and really poor heart health, and things that can actually lead to early onset mortality. So we want to take care of our heart. We want to be able to walk up a set of stairs and not be out of breath. These are those small little things that we take for granted sometimes when you do have a strong aerobic capacity, that you're able to play with your kids, that you're able to just jump into activities and roll around and climb things and run and lift without being out of breath. It's that massively contagious aspect of life. When you can do all those things without actually noticing it, it's incredibly fulfilling. And again, has a massive component in being in shape. So be capable, have high energy, be strong, and have a good aerobic capacity to, again, not burn out, especially on day-to-day activities, let alone things that are fun and fulfilling. Now we're going to jump into look good and feel good. So this goes into the idea of having that intrinsic confidence in, yes, your physical appearance. And then I know that's kind of the elephant in the room that some people don't like to talk about, is the idea of, looking at your appearance and feeling good about how you look. End of the day, we all do it. If you want to lie to yourself and say, I don't care how I look, we all know that's not true. We all know that if we look better, if we have a more shapely physique, if we have a less, fat tissue on us and more lean muscle mass, we are, or we at least see ourselves as more attractive human beings. It's not just from the physical standpoint, it's what that body indicates. It's what that physique describes and signifies, and that describes work ethic and discipline and sacrifice, all very attractive qualities. So again, it's not just the physical and the aesthetic that's pleasing, it's knowing what went into developing that physique, which is also very attractive, not only internally, but externally. So again, I talk about, and I kind of say it jokingly, but look good naked. You want to be able, as a 5-tool physical performer, to take your shirt off at the beach and feel good, to wear a bikini, to get dressed in front of people, your partner, and not be self-conscious of how you look. Of course, this takes time and takes developing that comfort, but again, you want to be someone who doesn't have to think about it, doesn't want to have to stress about, man, I'm not confident, and that might limit the things you could be doing that are super fun, like going to a beach, going to a pool party, and the thing that you want to do is jump in a pool and have a good time and share laughs, yet you're self-conscious about how you look. Again, one of those things we don't always think about, but we should. We want to make sure that's never a stress. That's nothing that ever prevents us from having a good time, enjoying our life, and creating true fulfillment in our life. So if something like that takes you away from potentially fulfilling situations, obviously it's something that we should rectify. And again, if you look good, you will feel much better. It's just how the body reacts, and it's just how the mind reacts as well. Now we're going to jump into the aspect of being a physical 5-tool performer, the mental side of things. Yes, working out, exercising, and moving your body makes your mind stronger. Not only more clear, so you have a higher sense of clarity with your mind, so improved decision-making skills, less reactive, more rational, but it goes into the idea of being a more logical thinker and reducing common debilitating factors like stress, like anxiety, and preventing things like depression. So again, the more we move our body, we actually release endorphins, and we release neurotransmitters like serotonin, like melatonin, and dopamine, which are phenomenal at relaxing the system, making us actually feel happy. Serotonin is the happy hormone, they call it, right? So it makes us feel good, it makes us feel blissful, and releases positive emotions and feel-good emotions. The more we move our body, the more this occurs. The less we move our body, we actually don't get those same endorphin rushes, and we don't have those neurotransmitters go throughout our body, and we're more in that stressful state. Again, the more we can do to release positive hormones into our system, obviously, the better it's going to be. And again, when you are sharp mentally, you have a clear mindset. You see things more logically. You see them for what they are, for what the situation is. You're more self-aware. You're more conscious of your decisions, of how you react. And again, it just makes moving through the day that much easier. And it's that compound effect of the physical that leads to so many other elements. Like they all do, they all interconnect. But physically, really, to me, accentuates all the other areas, because again, if you work out, again, you're going to want to eat healthy, and when you eat healthy, you're more productive at work, and when you're more productive at work, you come home happier. When you come home happier, you're more willing to work on those passion projects. When you're working on those passion projects, you're more fulfilled and purposeful in your life, and you have a greater sense of meaning and well-being. So they all play a role, but the physical really dictates and builds momentum for all the other areas. Personally, that's just something I live my life by, but again, this is all part of a massive ecosystem. They all interconnect in their own little way, but for physical, because it goes outside of the body and into the mind, I really dive into this, and I really think this is a massive component to our overall well-being, and an underrated one that we don't take advantage of enough, simply because, heck, it's so easy for us to get out and move the body. It's so easy for us to exercise. There's so many different options to go out there and produce movement and get exercise in, and it's just so incredibly fulfilling. So again, guys, I don't want to go on too much. This is a concise, brief episode, of course. It's the final one of the series. So now I've gone over to the 5 tools for the 5-tool performer. I've gone on the emotional side of things, the mental, the professional, the physical, the personal. We've covered it all. I hope you enjoyed the episodes. Yes, they're brief, they're concise. They're just going over the basic characteristics. We're not nearly getting as deep as we could be, but at least it gives you a slight idea of how you can be your own 5-tool performer.